Okay, oh, we got the
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Lisa Rubel from Quilty Zest, here tonight with my son Benji, and we're going to do a Facebook Live showing you how to make this cute little snowman quilt. We're going to wait a couple minutes to get started just to let some people join. So in the meantime, we have been home the last couple days because the weather has been super cold, right?
2 days.
2 days. Two, well, not snow days, but two cold days.
Yeah,
Yep.
off days.
Yep,
No
but you're
school.
going back to school tomorrow, right? Woohoo! Going back to school. Oh, Dawn and Megan have both joined. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
So, yeah, like much of the country, I've been hearing reports of snow in Florida. But we've had a little bit of snow, but mostly just cold weather. In the morning, it's been below zero. Megan says -6 this morning. Yep, it has been cold, and they don't let the kids go to school on those days because they don't want them waiting for the bus. So we had planned this snowman project for a while, but considering the wintry weather that so much of the country has had, it's a perfect project for tonight, isn't it? Yep. Yes, it is. Oh, Jan has joined us as well. Hi, Jan. So like I said, this is the little mini snowman quilt that we are going to be making tonight. And this snowman quilt is made using my new fabric line from Benartex, which is called Find Your Way. And this was actually Benji's idea back in December when we were talking about our January project. He said, I think we should make a snowman out of Find Your Way. And I thought that was a great idea. And we've got a couple more people joining. Thanks so much for joining and leaving a comment so that we know that you're watching. And also there will be a ThermOWeb gift card giveaway tonight. So make sure you leave a comment, and Dawn and I are on the same page because she's typing that right now. So make sure you leave a comment to be entered into that giveaway. But back to the snowman. So these are the fabrics in my Find Your Way collection. It's got a lot of turquoise and teal in it because those are colors that I really like. And then some white and some gray and oranges and yellows, and then these 3 fun ones up at the top. And so we decided to use some of these fabrics to make our snowman tonight. And what? Oh yes, Megan says you should ask for royalties. Yeah, you're something, aren't you? So we used the light aqua for the background, the white for the snowman, and then the gray for the hat, as well as this little flange edge, and then this fun print for the border. So we're actually going to do a different color version tonight because we had a couple ideas of which fabric would look good where. So we will end up with a snowman that looks similar to this, but not exactly like this. And Benji is fresh out of the shower because he had soccer practice tonight. But
I'm tired.
he finished, he went skiing today since there was no school, and then had soccer practice, and now is down here for the Facebook Live before he goes to bed to go back to school tomorrow. Woohoo!
Alright, so first question of the night. How cold did it get where you live? What was the coldest it got?
And also put where you live too.
Yes.
Yes.
Here we got like...
Because the people in Florida where it's 30 degrees, that's equally impressive to the, the -15 or whatever that we had up here in Michigan, right?
It was negative, yeah.
I think at one point it
Negative.
was. It was
Well,
awfully
I knew it
cold.
was negative, but I didn't know
was chilly.
what. I thought it was like 6 or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
so while you're leaving those comments, I'm going to show you some of the products that we're using tonight, ThermOWeb products, to make this project. We're going to, for the Fusible applique, we are going to use the HeatnBond Lite Sewable. And then for the batting in this project, we're using the Fusible Fleece, which is really nice because it adheres to your project, so you only have to baste one side of it. Oh, Dawn says we had the real feel of -27. Yeah, that real feel is definitely a lot colder than the temperature.
We went up to Wisconsin. It got down to, what was it?
Something in the -20s.
Yeah, it was really cold.
Yep. And then you went skating on the lake.
Arizona, right?
Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas.
Ooh, 8 degrees. That is very chilly for Arkansas, for sure. I saw some parts of Arkansas got snow, I think last week. I don't know if that's where you live, Carletta. And then we're going to use pressing paper when we use both the HeatnBond Lite and then also this HeatnBond Fusible interfacing. And I use the lightweight version of this. It works like a slip so that we can put light fabrics on top of dark without having them show through. And I gotta tell you, that has been a game changer for making snowmen, because snowmen are white, right? Unless you're using yellow snow. They're gonna be white. But so often the background that you wanna put a snowman on is a darker color than white, and you end up with some of the shapes showing through. So by adding this layer of fusible interfacing onto the fabric, it will work just like a slip under a skirt and kind of hide that background. So we're going to show you how to do that. Nancy from Northern California has joined, and she has pleasant weather, not the snow that we've got. Snow and cold we've got both up in the Midwest and then down in the South.
It's cold down here.
All right, should we get started on making our snowman?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to switch our camera to the overhead view. And so on the blog post that goes along with today's project on the ThermOWeb blog, I put the link for this template page in there, and it's got the template for the snowman, the hat band, the hat, the carrot nose, the scarf, and the stick arms.
Okay. Sharon said the week before 12 and a half plus
12
inches.
and a half inches.
That's a lot of snow.
Fantastic.
And
electric
Carletta,
blanket. You've been using my... Yes, Benji stole my electric blanket and has been using it on his bed. Those are nice to have when it's super chilly.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Okay, so I traced out these shapes before we got started tonight, just so you didn't have to watch me trace. And what we're going to do for the snowman is I've cut a layer of the fusible interfacing, and I'm going to lay that on the back of my white snowman fabric. And then we're going to put where's the pressing cloth? Here it is. Put the pressing paper on top. And then do you want to handle our ironing here? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're going to put it right here and let it sit, and then move it down. So we're going to fuse this interfacing to the white fabric before we put our drawn shape on it. And like I said, that will create a layer so that it doesn't show through the dark fabric that we're using underneath. So we're going to do this for both our snowman fabric as well as the snow that's down at the bottom right here. Okay, let's see, do we get that attached? Very nice. Okay, let's do that for the snow piece right away. And for the everything else, you're going to be cutting the fabric just slightly larger than the shapes that we're going to be fusing. But for the snow at the bottom, I cut a piece that's about 3 inches by 10.5 inches. And then we're going to freehand the curve for this part. And you know what? I think I did not, can you grab the HeatnBond from down there? The HeatnBond Lite? That big piece right there. I think that is the only piece I didn't cut, because I'll tell you a secret. There is not a template for the snow. We're just going to make a freehand curve.
For those of you joining about right now, because I see his views went up, leave a comment. There's a drawing for a $25 ThermOWeb gift card, and comment to get in. And also we have a question. How cold did it get where you live? So yeah, again, tell us.
So far, I think the winner is the feels like of -27, right? Is that what Dawn said? 25, 27, something, -27.
Yeah.
Okay, so Benji, what I'd like you to do, we've put our trace snowman shape from the HeatnBond Lite Sewable onto our white and the white that we have the Fusible on, and then you're going to fuse this in place, okay? And then we're going to work on the snow next, after that is fused in place. And how many seconds do you usually do when you do this?
7.
Yep, about 7 seconds. And we try to just do up and down rather than, there's always, like when you iron clothes, there's that tendency to want to go back and forth. And so we're going to try just to go up and down. Is this long enough? Okay, fantastic. So then we're going to do the same thing. This is my 3.5 inch wide by 10.5 inch piece of snow. And then we're going to do the same thing and fuse some of the HeatnBond Lite onto that so that we can create our snowbank for the bottom. So can you do this as well for me? Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Ooh, -9. Wow.
Yep, it has been chilly.
Chilly con carne.
I was laughing. We were at my parents in Wisconsin this weekend, like Benji said, and we were watching the news, and they were giving you all the do's and the don'ts on the news of what not to do. Like don't use your oven as a heater and that type of thing. But they had put the words "do not" very small, and
at
then
the top only.
At the top, and then it said, you know, use your oven as a heat source. And so if you looked at it, it looked like it was telling you to use your oven as a heat source, which we all know is not a great thing to do, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the way that we're going to create the snow, I'm going to slide this over a bit so you can see my cutting surface, is I'm just going to freehand a real gentle curve here. And you can decide like how many humps you want it to have. But you can see you can make it as straight or as wavy as you like. And so we've got that ready for our snow. Okay, so now we're going to bring this back. We're going to peel off the back, peel off the paper, and we're going to set this. Oops, I've got a little extra piece of paper. I think I've got to push up a little bit. We're going to set this at the bottom here. Now before we fuse anything in place, we're going to kind of position all the pieces. So I'm going to cut out our snowman, and Benji, maybe you can show off the pieces I've already cut while I cut the snowman. Can you show those? Just get them up here so that they show for the camera,
so
okay?
Scarf.
Yep.
And then his arms. And then the nose.
Stick arms, yep. And it was such a happy accident that my Find Your Way fabrics had the orange in it, which makes the perfect carrot nose. And then I decided to do my stick arms that color as well, and then to do a cheery yellow scarf for the snowman. Okay, oh, you know what? We also need to fuse the hat. And then I will let you set up our snowman.
Right. Hello, Betty and Jan from Delaware and Northern California.
Okay, so nice to have so many people looking to watch us make the snowman tonight. All right, so as we have to play on the Frozen song, right, and say, Benji, do you want to build a snowman?
Sure, but
Benji apparently doesn't think that's cool. I thought it was kind of clever.
What?
But to say, do you want to build a snowman? Okay, can you build a snowman on here so we can see it, right? So,
second question.
And Megan says, I really like that fabric. Thank you. This it's my very first fabric line with Benartex, and it is showing up in stores right now. And if you head to my website, which is quiltyzest.com, you can see a list of stores that are carrying it if it's something you'd like to have.
All right, second question. I'll repeat the first question too. So the first question of the night was, how cold did it get where you live? And Second question is, should the nose go this way on a snowman or this way on a snowman?
Those are
Which
good
do you
questions.
think?
So left or right is what you
Yeah.
want to say. Okay.
Facing left or
Can
facing
you put
right?
our hat on?
Carrot. Sure.
Okay. Great. And then what I
Does he
do,
have eyes?
we'll talk about the eyes in a minute. So what I do, because I don't always trust my tracing or my cutting. So when I'm doing something like putting this little band on the hat, I will often cut the band a little bit longer than what I've drawn. And because if I cut it too short and then I've got little piece of hat hanging out the side, I don't love how that looks. So I leave it a little long, knowing that I can then come back and trim it.
All right, we have two answers. We have one left and one right. Personally, I'm gonna have to say I like going right with the carrot on like drawings and stuff. I don't know.
You like going right? Well, can you take the paper off the back so we can fuse it down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're gonna kind of get everything laid out like we want it. So I've trimmed my hat band so it's now the same width as my hat. And I do that a lot when I have things that overlap because I don't want it to be short. And like I said, I don't always trust my tracing or my cutting. And then what I did for the last one, Benji, is I actually put the one arm over the one tail of the scarf because I just kind of liked how that gave it a little more dimension.
Perfect.
You getting that nose peeled? I'm going to peel off this other arm. Okay, and we'll put that guy over there. And of course, if you have a more traditional stick-colored fabric, you are welcome to use that. Sharon wants to know what my iron is resting on. So this is the little Aliso project iron, and it comes with this rubber pad. And when you're not using it or when you're taking it someplace, it's got a storage side that you can actually tuck it into. And then when you are using it, you flip it over and it is a little pad like that.
Yes.
So I think that's what you were talking about, Sharon. If you were asking about my ironing and cutting pad, let me know and I can tell you about that too. Just make sure you don't touch that onto this, right?
Why don't you do it this way? Oh, it's for storage.
Yep, that's for storage. Okay.
Yep,
you put it in. But right now it's hot, so we're going to leave it on top.
Oh, so it's double-sided. I thought it was just one side.
Nope,
Right.
it is double-sided.
Texas,
and
18 degrees.
And I will tell you, it is a nice, powerful little iron. Not all of those small irons have a lot of power to them, and that one gets hot, which is good. Okay, so let's look at what we've got going on here. I think it looks good. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull this stuff off for a second. And then we're going to fuse. And what I was looking at really was to make sure once I put my snowman on my snowbank and then the hat on top, I wanted to make sure I had enough room at the top because we'll be putting an edge on this. So I wanted to make sure that it wasn't too high. Because if it is a little too high, you can always just tuck your snowman down. Oh, you know what? I forgot to take the paper off our snowman.
Right, once again, as more people are joining, make sure to leave a comment to get in the drawing for a $25 ThermOWeb gift card. And we have two questions. How cold did it get around where you live? And do you think the carrot on a snowman should go left or right? So facing...
You gotta bring it out a little bit so it shows.
So facing this way or facing this way? Tell us what you think.
Yep. Let's see. On the original project,
she has it facing right.
It went to the right.
See, I think it looks better right.
And Benji asked me, while I fuse all this down, Benji asked me, what about the eyes? And on the first version of this that we did, I did the eyes with black thread and a zigzag stitch, just a very tight kind of big zigzag stitch to do the eyes. I thought about also doing them with buttons, but I opted not to, mostly because I didn't feel like sewing the buttons on. And But you could absolutely do it with buttons, or you could do it with a little piece of black fabric and some fusible adhesive and make little coal button shape eyes yourself. Yes, Benji's got my buttons over there. Okay. On this one? Sure. But we will do it at the very... It won't be tonight, though.
Aww.
Okay. If you do buttons, I recommend waiting until after you've quilted the project, because you don't want to try to quilt around buttons. That's just not fun.
Right. We have 4 responses. Thank you, Dawn. 3 rights and 18. Wow. Negative 18.
Chilly. Okay. So now we're going to put on...
And there's another right.
Snowman knows to the right. Okay, Benji, you've got a
rights.
lot of right fans
rights.
tonight.
6 rights.
I mean, technically, if you were out in the snow, the snowman nose would point forward, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to put on all of our little accessories. And we're going to go back, put the pressing paper over them. And when you're doing little pieces like that, this is when it's especially helpful to make sure you're not moving the iron back and forth, because you don't want to accidentally roll up your thing. So it's very much put the iron down and let it heat up the adhesive so that it adheres, and then move it around. And when you lift up the pressing paper, if it is not stuck, you can absolutely go back and do a little bit more.
15.
Okay, 15 in Delaware. That's chilly. I think that's what we're about up to now. All right.
Actually, I have not built a snowman yet this year. The snow's always been a little bit too powdery.
Yeah, we got snow for the first time right before it got cold. And so right now it's too cold and it is not packing snow. But hopefully soon.
We haven't gotten good packing snow.
Hopefully soon.
Carrot to the right. Wow, that's 7.
Ooh, negative 11 Celsius. That is even colder.
That's really cold.
You win, Susan. You win. Okay, so what I'm going to do...
How cold is that? I forgot.
I cannot do the math, but it is colder than... I can't do that math when I'm on camera. That's too much pressure.
What's PA?
Pennsylvania.
Oh.
12. So yeah, the powder snow is great for skiing, but we are hoping for some snowman making snow soon. Okay. So
I didn't even notice that. After quilting, you could glue googly eyes on.
We absolutely could. Googly eyes or buttons. Either way, we could glue on. Yes. So looking back,
another carrot to the right.
At this, well, good. I'm glad we did the carrot to the right. Looking back at this project, so what I did here, instead of a really skinny border, is I have it set up as a flange.
Oh, please talk about the
pressing paper. Yep.
Yes.
So this is a ThermOWeb product as well. And it's waxy on the side that you put down on your applique and papery on the other side. And it protects your iron, your surface, all of the above. So I try to use it whenever I'm fusing applique in place. Sometimes I get excited about fusing and I forget, but it keeps your iron protected and your fabrics protected. So it's a great layer to put in between. So for the flange, what it is it's 1-inch strips that are the same size as my background square. My background square is 10.5. And so I have 1-inch strips and then I've pressed them in half. And I'm going to line them up so they will look like a border, but they will be, I guess, loose would be the way. Oh, Dawn did the math for us. Thank you. I'm guessing using some sort of calculator. So
I don't know how to do that yet.
But yes, 12 degrees. So I had it backwards, but that is still cold.
It's still cold.
So what I'm going to do is pin it in place, and I've got 4 of these made, and I'm going to put 1 on each side, and you're pinning the raw edges to the raw edges of your square.
Mama, have you ever had someone from a different country watch?
I'm not sure.
I feel like this is the first time I've seen one on one of these.
Well, from Canada, yes. Other countries I think are harder because of the time zone changes. It's, in Europe, it's the middle of the night right now.
Yeah, we're close to Canada, so time zone. Actually, I think we're in the same time zone as Ontario, right?
As part of Canada, yes.
As Ontario, though.
Okay,
right?
So I've got the 2 side ones on, and then I'm going to do the same down here. And once I get all of them on, then we're going to add the border. And there's two ways to do this. You can either baste these in place and stitch them. And so basting is using a little wider stitch, and you're going to do it about 1/8 inch from the edge. And that means that you won't see it later, but it will hold all of these. Where did my last folded piece go? Here it is. It will hold all of these folded flanges in place. Or you can just do what I'm doing and pinning them. So I've got them all pinned, and then I've got my border pieces cut. And I'm just going to lay these out so you can see how they go. My border pieces are 10.5 by 2.5 on the sides. And then the top and bottom are going to be 10.5 by 14.5, and that's going to be the size of our finished project. So you can see this is what it's going to look like. Like I said, we chose different fabrics for the background and the border and the flange than the original, just because we wanted to play around. And actually I really kind of like this one back here because I feel like it looks like, I mean, giant snowflakes, but snowflakes.
All right, real quick.
Yep.
Remember, if you haven't commented and you're still here, please comment. You can be entered you will be entered in a $25 gift card drawing for ThermOWeb products. And third question, what do you think is the most important part of a snowman?
Well, accessory.
Or accessory.
Because the snowballs are probably the most important part.
But
yes.
what's the most expensive, the most important part of a snowman? Accessories. And the last two questions were...
No, we're good on the last two questions.
Oh yeah, which way does the carrot go? And
which we're done
how
on.
cold did it get in your area?
Okay. So then, in order to get these flanges stitched in place, what you're going to do is put your border strip on top, just like regular, like if you were sewing a border on. And I'm going to add on a couple more pins to that.
That's a good idea, Megan. Yeah. Every
month.
One
of these for every month, that would be cute.
Every month of the year quilt. We should do that.
We could.
This is January.
There we go. So then when you stitch that on, you will end up with this little skinny border that actually is dimensional because it's not sewn down underneath. You'll end up with that. So you're going to sew on those two border strips and then do the same top and bottom.
All right, 4 hats, 1 scarf, and a carrot nose.
Hat. It's always fun to take one of our ski hats out and put it on a snowman, isn't it? Mm. So you can see here, I can't lift up the side ones because they're quilted down, but I can lift up the top and bottom. And it's just, a flange is a really nice way to add a skinny border without having to sew very skinny strips in place, and having that dimension to it is just kind of a fun thing. And I really love the way that the stripe looks in it.
I have another carrot.
Another carrot nose, yep. And then some animal comes and thinks that you left it a little snack. So then the last thing I want to talk about is doing the decorative stitching around the snowman, and that will help to permanently secure your applique, especially depending on how you use this. We made ours into a little quilted wall hanging, but it would be a really cute pillow as well. And you can see on this one, I took thread in all the colors that I use. So I've got white zigzag along the edge of my snowman and the snow, orange on the carrots and the sticks, and then yellow on the scarf and the hat band, and gray here. And I did a little zigzag stitch. But my suggestion for that, before you do all of that zigzag stitching, is that you put a piece of the lightweight fusible interfacing on the back and fuse it into place. And that will just give you a little firmer surface when you're stitching, and it won't, sometimes when you zigzag stitch, it pulls the fabric in. And having that fusible on the back will keep it from pulling that fabric in, and you'll have a nice flat finished surface.
California?
Yep.
CA?
California.
Pacific
CA.
Grove, California. 56? Wow.
50, 50 yes,
You're lucky.
56 does sound warm this right now, doesn't it?
We've had a negative 27 so
Doesn't
far.
it?
Yes.
So then, just to go back to finishing up the project, I talked to you about how to put the borders on. You'll put on all 4, and then you layer the project top, the quilt top, with a square of fusible fleece and backing fabric. I just did straight line quilting, and if you've watched any of my other videos, that is my go-to because it's pretty easy to do, and it also because you stitch one line and then you just keep following that line with your foot on your machine. I use a walking foot. This is the one for my machine, this walking foot, and then I just line the edge of that foot up against, like, say I start with that seam, go all the way across, and then I just keep following each seam line. So I get nice straight lines, and it kind of just creates a textured look without distracting from the applique. So that is my go-to machine quilting for quilts like this. So after you get it quilted, then you'll trim the backing and batting even with your quilt top and put a binding on it. And this is your little finished project. And like I said, if you want to turn it into a pillow, that would be really cute as well. We're going to switch back to the scene of Benji's and my faces.
Our beautiful faces.
Yes. Ben likes to, make faces. It's like he's looking in a mirror when the camera's on, so that he likes to make faces. So yes, that is how we make the snowman applique. And again, the templates for making this are in the blog post that goes along with tonight's videos, and Dawn has put a link to that in the comments as well. And I just wanted to put out 2 more Find Your Way plugs for those of you who joined a little on the later side. These are my Find Your Way fabrics, a new line from Benartex that just came out, and we use these in the snowman. They also are used in the quilt behind us, which is called Trail Map, and it's made out of 7 different sizes of flying geese. And then the other one I was going to show you, because it also uses several ThermOWeb products, is the Follow the Sun quilt. And this uses reverse applique. So the background, this medium teal, is fused on top of the yellow and orange strips to make that sunshine shape. And then we used chenille it around the shape of the sun to give it a little fuzzy dimensional texture. So both of those patterns are available on my website if there's something you would be interested in making. And then the last thing I was going to comment on, Megan just commented on it as well. Thank you.
Yeah, you
This is my rainbow shirt, also using Find Your Way fabrics. And this was a tutorial on, not a video tutorial, but a blog post tutorial on the ThermOWeb blog last week. So you can find the templates to make this. I did a grown-up size and then a smaller rainbow version for a kid's size as well. But really easy, just using the HeatnBond Lite Sewable and then the Fusible interfacing as well, and just fusing it onto a t-shirt that I bought at Joann's, and then doing a little bit of stitching around each of the shapes to make it stay. So that I've actually made 2 of these. I have a long sleeve and a short sleeve, but it's a lot of fun to make and to wear. And so do you have anything else you wanted to add, Benji?
No.
No. What is your favorite? What is your essential snowman accessory?
I don't know. The snowballs.
The snowballs?
The arms, I'm going to say. The arms.
The arms?
Sticks.
I like to put a scarf around it, because we've got some fun, colorful scarves. So I think that's fun. Hopefully we will get to make
What's really fun is when you
snowman.
put your favorite football team's helmet on it.
Yes, we are Packer fans, so we are
And then you can tackle
in
it.
mourning because they are out of the playoffs, but we do have a Packer helmet. I feel like putting that on a snowman in Michigan would not go well for us, though. Probably not. So, all right, Dawn has picked a winner. Congratulations to Sharon. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope everyone who's in the cold snaps stays warm, and everyone who's not in the cold snap, enjoy your normal January weather.
Yep.
And we'll be back here in February, with another Facebook Live. So we hope to see you then, and thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, then say thanks.
Adios.
Good night. You're going to bed.
Please answer the questions.
All right.